In this video, I want to talk about which investments beat the PSEi, beat the Philippine stock market in general last month, last January 2020. So if you want to know what it is, and so that it becomes a template also on how you can select, pick, and time your investments for the upcoming months and years as well, check this video out. Hi everyone, this is Marvin German. I'm a stock market trader and investor. And if you're new to this channel, super appreciate it if you could subscribe and smash the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing, about the stock market, about financial freedom, so that you can hit your goals of financial freedom. So what are you waiting for? Enjoy the rest of the video. So as you know guys, for those who have been following me throughout the past few days, we've talked about the PSEi being battered, being sold down, that it really hasn't gone anywhere, that we saw the majority of the large cap stocks with large market caps from SM, SM Prime, Ali, AC, been sold down. That being in effect, you also that's why you saw the broad market also go down as well. So if you watch the previous video, I've mentioned it that the PSEi has been down around 7+%. That also means that even if you bought time deposits, even if you bought savings accounts, even if you bought bonds, or even if you got MP2, we've made a lot of videos about MP2, those stocks beat the broad market in general. You would have made more money in those investments last January as compared to the PSEi as a whole. If you started January to the end of January, you would have lost 7+% as well. Now, I want to show you some investments, some assets that did well, that somehow, because of the market being down, they were still not just they didn't just move up, but they started to surge, and they've been continuing their surge. And if you've been watching my videos also prior to this, I've already mentioned some of them as well. And some of them also, please remember, it's not just about what's happening in the Philippine setting. There's a lot of things that would have dragged the market slower. You have then all of the news with Ayala Land, Manila Water, SM Prime, the reclamation, them not being allowed to reclaim. So those things also bunched up the markets, plus all of the things that's happening externally as well. That being said, at foreigners selling, is if you add all of those things together, place a combination on what's been happening in our market. So first things first, I want to start with this. When there is a lot of uncertainty, and you can peg this also as some sort of a hedge ready for you for future events, so any negative event that could possibly hit economies, any negative event that could possibly hit markets, or similar to what happened a few days ago, we had Brexit, anything that could possibly hit currencies. I think there are two things that you could watch out for. Number one is you could look at gold. So I'll show you this first. This is an ETF of gold. No, there's two types of gold ETFs that that you could actually look at. Number one, if you're invested in the New York Stock Exchange or your exposure is in US markets, you could look at the Spider Gold Trust. Or if you want exposure to gold also via ETF from Singapore, you could look at 087 order GLD. So this is a Spider Gold Trust, as you can see here at the end of 2019 to where we are right now. You see this sudden surge as well. So if you try to at least collect some of the data from here, from the start of the trading day here, you would have seen that from, let me zoom in so we see it better. You see it better. There you have at least a movement of this that was relatively better still than where the PSEi is. So it could be this. So this, please remember, this is a ETF. This is an ETF. This is just a derivation of what's happening in gold. So you can also buy the physical the physical metal itself. You can buy the precious metal. You just have to really store it. So same thing here. You see almost the same amount of return, which is much better than the PSEi. Or you can also look at this. You have this is via eToro. So if you do eToro, you have a CFD version of it. Same thing. You see the same push right here. So that's one. You can go the route of investing in gold. You can go the route of investing either the tangible gold, the ETF gold, or the CFD version of the gold. So those are three things that could somehow counter all of the volatility that's happening as well. So please remember, the main difference lang is if you buy the physical gold, you would have to also find a person who would want to buy it from you later on, and you also need to have storage. Either you put it in a safety deposit box, etc., where you want it to be stored, or if you want the liquidity and you just really want to track gold, you can just do the CFD route, or you can do the ETF route as well, where you see the fluctuations of gold being followed as well. That's one. Number two, and I've been talking a lot about this as well, and as you all know, I've been a firm believer of cryptocurrencies. Another way for you to go is to look at the route of buying just Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the biggest cryptocurrency out there. It has the largest participation. A lot of people are. It has a bigger its market cap is relatively bigger. And here's what's interesting about it: the hype that we've seen about it. I saw it now. I was in Taiwan, December. I think it was December 2017 when Bitcoin was pushing at very, very large amounts, then only to see it start to go down. It hit around almost $20,000, only to see it drop to around $4,000 as well. And a lot of people went in at that time because they were expecting that it would be $100,000 per coin. But what's interesting now, and what I believe now, is the hype of it. All of the people who just came in just to speculate are now relatively out, and people are starting to treat Bitcoin as some sort of a counter hedge, or some sort of a hedge up against the normal fiat currencies, up against when there's something bad that's happening. Whatever's happening, whatever you see in gold, the same facility could also be there for Bitcoin as well. And as you've noticed it, this was the base of Bitcoin when we started the year. It was around 7,000. Now it's close to 9,320 already. So 7,000 to 9,320, it pretty much beats. It pretty much takes care and beats the PSEi as well. So I've also made videos about local stocks, individual stocks, where you could have beaten the PSEi in almost the same regard. Again, the name of the game if you are investing in the stock market is about proper stock selection, knowing the right stocks to buy, knowing when to come in, when to come out. But also it could be a wise alternative to deviate also and to diversify away from the market. But again, don't just diversify for the sake of diversification. You diversify because it's part of your strength. You diversify because it's part of your strategy. You diversify into assets that you know also what you're getting into. It does not make sense to diversify on assets that, hey, I'm not really good at this as well. So it has to come to a point where you are diversifying into your strength. So I've talked about the earlier ones, the easier ones, the time deposits, the MP2s that have beat the PSEi. I also talked about gold. I've talked about gold ETFs, gold CFDs. I've also talked about Bitcoin. I want to talk about some US stocks that have beat the PSEi, and this is also a regret. I should have done this when a disclosure came out, and I'm talking about Tesla. For those who know, Tesla released a version of their Cybertruck model around late November 2019, and after that the stock price started to just soar. If you just look at what happened, even if you came in late, you did not come in during the Cybertruck announcement. At that time, it was below $300 per share. But after that, even if you came in late, you came in at the start of the year, Tesla was hovering around $400 a share. Now it's around $650 a share. That being said, it would have been a 50% upside, beating the PSEi also. So again, the name of the game also is you don't have to limit yourself to just looking at the broad market, the PSEi itself. You have so much options right now that there's so many options for you to be able to have exposure to buy, number one, the real stock of Tesla or the CFD version of Tesla as well. So that's what I'm showing you here. You can have options, especially if you want to diversify out of what's happening in the markets here. And lastly, comment below if you're learning before I show you the last stock that I want you guys to see. And please remember, if what I'm showing you, gold, Tesla, these are not speculatives. These are not speculation. Tesla is one of the it's now one of the biggest car manufacturing companies in the world as well. Gold is a time-tested product, so this is not a mom and pop trading strategy. This is common sense that you can also employ, that you can also deploy as well. So comment comment if you're learning. Comment if this is a new idea that, hey, oh man, I never thought about this. That this is a way for me to be able to diversify and also learn. Comment I'm learning if you're learning as well. Before I go to the last stock, quick plug, guys. For those who want to learn all of these charts that I'm showing you, this is what you call technical analysis. It's you analyzing the markets based on past prices, based on volume, based on how chart patterns are formed, based on indicators. This is not forecasting, this is not guessing, this is not you trying to predict where it will go. This is you analyzing everything based on the trend, based on the range, and creating risk management systems for you to be able to make money off of all of this. But if you want to join us and learn all of this, I have seminars in different countries around the world. This Feb, Taiwan. This March, Manila. This April, London. This May, I will be in Singapore and Doha, Qatar. This June, we will be in Auckland, New Zealand. This July, we will be in Sydney. Then in November, we're going to do Dubai and Tokyo as well for all of you guys that want to join us. All of the links are in the description below. And aside from that, for those who want to learn online, those of you who cannot be in those cities, I have an online Tagalog course about the basics of the stock market with Chinkitan. It's also in the description. And I also have an online web class with Sean C, where we talk about the basics of business and investing as well. And last plug, for those who want to grab a copy of my book, it's all on Shopee. Links are in the description below. I hope that for those who want to learn and consume via books, it's all under there as well. 12-minute mark. I hope you guys are learning, but let's see what the next one is. I want to talk about, very, very simple. Everyone knows about this. It's Apple. Apple really, if you look at it, even starting it from June last year, it has massively surged. I've made videos about Warren Buffett having 30% of Berkshire Hathaway's position in Apple as well. You're buying Apple not just because of the company, not just because before they used to innovate a lot, but you're already buying Apple not because of its brand. If you look at it, the start of the year, it was around the $275 mark. It hit around $325 a share already. So Apple currently, as of today, because it dropped more than 4%, the last trading date closed at $309.51 a share. Nonetheless, it still outperformed and beat the PSEi as a whole. So that's the route. No, your technique is to find other assets, other asset classes, other investments that will outperform. And if you notice it, it's not just about technical analysis, it's not just about you timing the markets, but it's also you being sensitive that if the broad market in the Philippines is not doing so well, you can look at it. That's why foreigners are also selling. That's why foreigners are putting it in cash and putting it in other markets as well. That could be already a clue for you on how you can position as well for the long term. So there, January 2019, time deposits, savings accounts, MP2, bonds beat the PSEi, gold via CFD and ETF beat the PSEi, Bitcoin beat the PSEi via buying direct Bitcoin or the CFD as well, or buying US stocks that are moving in a different direction as the market, Tesla, Apple, the direct stock or the CFD as well, or just being selective and buying good stocks in the PSE. So there, I hope you guys got a lot from this. I hope this is something that added tremendous value to you. I hope this is something that also gave you an ability to learn more on how you can diversify and make money in the markets at a time where there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of people selling and shying away from the markets, because there's a lot of opportunities that can be made if you know what you're getting into. So if this added a lot of value to all of you guys, super appreciate it if you could subscribe and hit the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing, about the stock market. And I guess that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.